Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Are all doors open for Claressa Shields?
I'm just so happy you said that. I want you to know something. All doors are open for Claressa Shields. Every last door.
Now, supposedly every last door is open for Claressa Shields. But let me ask y'all a question. I want to know what y'all think about this. Okay. Now, watch this. I want to show y'all something. Now, this is, I've been watching this the last couple of days, but I'm so damn busy. But Serrano is replying to Claressa Shields. Clarissa came out basically and said, of course she sold out. Limited number of seats, 5,000. Serrano came out there and clarified. It's 7,200, but it's all good. We sold out what we had. I'm in no competition with her or anyone. I'm just trying to lead the sport better to win my sister, and I did it. And a lot of people, Two-Tone and a bunch of other people, of course, are doing what they do. Well, what we do, right? We create content and we talk about things. But is Clarissa looking for bragging rights? Or is she looking for real fights? And do you think all doors remain open for Claressa Shields? But my thing is this. How can she really believe that all doors are open for her when you listen to the people? The pulse of the people, man, is what to me will determine whether doors will open or close. Or if they're open, remain open. Or if they're closed, will be reopened for you, because I think the doors that close on Claressa Shields, I think they've been closed, bolted shut, then welded shut as well. I don't think this shit can be reopened. But check this out right here. When you look, let me go all the way down. I was just kind of going over the comments to see how many people, support Claressa Shields and agree with the stuff that she says, right? So you can see people are here, insulting her, and, people can do and say what they want, They're saying, Amanda, you're the GOAT. Clarissa, they kind of make fun of her. Congrats on the win. Wow. Facts. Classy Amanda, humble, true champion. And see, nobody coming to see you. People disrespecting Clarissa. Saying Amanda's classy, F Clarissa. They're putting this stuff up, images of Clarissa making fun of her. Y'all picking this goofy something. People posted this right here, and saying what they're saying about her. But the bottom line, and again, y'all get the idea. What would make Clarissa come out here after Amanda Serrano and the whole MVP card put on an amazing event? The ladies got up there and performed, right? If Clarissa feels like people are bullying her and picking on her and she has done nothing wrong, right? How you going to feel that way when you're doing stuff like this? And this is why people don't take Claressa Shields serious. And this is why when I do lives, anybody can call in. And I want to hear people say good things about whoever we're talking about, or even if we're not. People know you can call my channel, you can call my live, and y'all can sit there and talk about the cat biting the goddamn dog. I don't care. Just, as long as you keep it clean and respectful, we can talk about anything. But this is why when people call in, no one has anything. There's a handful that has something good to say, but majority have nothing good to say about her. Because she is not trying to bring anything together with women's sports. Clarissa, in my opinion, is all about being divisive. And she just wants bragging rights. Not real fights like Serrano. Because I'm going to tell you right now, man, there ain't no comparison. Right? And I'm not saying that because people are like, oh, man, y'all just don't like it. Don't group me with no motherfucking body. I sit back and I watch Clarissa Shields and I watch Amanda Serrano, and I did the research on them and the accolades and everything they both accomplished. I didn't say Clarissa is not a badass fighter. I didn't say Clarissa doesn't have great accomplishments. I said there's no comparison between Clarissa and Amanda. See, Amanda's not out here chasing bragging rights. Everything with Clarissa is brag, brag, brag. She wants bragging rights, people. 106 gold medals, 236 world titles, 8-time undisputed. I got my man, Pat Poos. That's all she want. 18,000, 19,000 in Detroit. Man, please. She want to brag. I'm in Honolulu. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm in Aruba. I thought I was in Honolulu. Man, please, Pat Poos. You know, at all inclusive, you get your makeup done, it includes your eyelashes, it can include your makeup, it can include your lipstick, it can include them cleaning your ears, they'll wax your mustache, they'll do everything. They can give you free food, it's a fucking all inclusive. You go on the beach, I rode a horse on the beach. Brag. Got video, man. Got the 2 beds in the hotel room, and then pair of sneakers just flung across on the floor. All kind of wet footsteps all up there in them cheap tile floors, man. Run out there and some weird flipper kick into the pool, then in the pool swimming. Ain't even moving, man. Feet moving 1,000 miles an hour, just like her mouth. Man, please. Went to the Olympics. Boxing. I could have been swimming. Didn't know I could swim like this. Man, please. Papoose. So what are we doing here, man? I think there's 2 sides of the Claressa Shields debate because, you know, I give her credit as a fighter. I do, but I'm just telling you, I think she pushed more for the bragging rights, not real fights. That's my opinion. You just look at her right now. What's she going to do? We'll fight Schurich in Germany, like I've been saying. July 3rd, maybe. If not, then what's she going to do? Schurich is 6 feet tall, but Schurich beat Lanai Daniels. So she has like 9 fights, 4 knockouts. I mean, what Clarissa going to do? Now, my thing is, Clarissa came out here and she let us know, man, that, you know, she knew that when she's moving up in weight, that she could just get in there and street fight these women and beat them. She didn't need much skill. She knew she could easily beat them. When you tell me something like that, that tells me, okay, you just wanted to go out here because you realized there was an opportunity to win more titles. You realize there was an opportunity to go out here, man, and expand your legacy with little to no risk. But if she wouldn't have said that, if she would have said, you know what, me moving up in weight, it was very difficult. Those women, y'all, I'm telling you, it may look easy to y'all, but they hit so hard. They were so dedicated, in the great shape. Man, it was a challenge getting through there, but I just had to up it. It was Jesus. If it wasn't for Jesus, I don't know if I would have won those fights. Then we feel a little bit like, all right, she telling us, you know, because those of us who've been punched in the face boxing, you know, sometimes you'll be out the outside looking in and thinking, why isn't somebody doing X? Why isn't somebody doing Y and Z? And then you'll get a chance to go spar them or whatever, and then you're like, oh shit, that's why. But when someone comes out and they're telling you, the women were nothing, I knew I could beat them. Okay, so you just wanted bragging rights. You didn't want no real fights, because if those women were killers, if basically those women in those heavier weights were basically fighters, skill, power, and everything, like a Serrano, like a Baumgartner, right? Clarissa probably wouldn't have gone up there and messed with them. Katie Taylor. I'm talking about at the high weight classes. If they had fighters like that, speed, power, IQ, intensity, refuses to lose, finding a way to win, would Clarissa have gone up there? Maybe she would have skipped the weight division. There's a reason why she ain't got no titles at 168. Now she's trying to, somehow she gonna come back down to 168. You know what I'm saying? Because Shadesha Green was looking there. Franchon was there. She brought Franchon up. She knew what she was doing with Franchon. I still thought Franchon would have, you know, but the way the whole team played out was horrible. Horrible. I feel bad for Franchon. But at the same time, why she wasn't messing with Shadesha? because she didn't want a real fight. She went at the franchise because she was comfortable with her. But I still thought, and then you look how it all played out. I don't know. I'll leave that shit alone. I'll just say it's the reason why she ain't mess with Shadisha. Bragging rights. But don't get it twisted. Clarissa Shields' accomplishments are extraordinary because people only hear the bullshit. No, listen to what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that her accomplishments are extraordinary. But she ain't no Amanda Serrano. But she's up there. But she ain't Serrano. And if we're talking whole person concept, there's no comparison. It doesn't even make sense to talk about. Shit's a mute point. All these, you would think that Clarissa was the only one to win world titles in multiple divisions. And I'm telling you it's a big deal. But Serrano, man, we can't forget about her. She's a bigger deal. The Olympic gold medals. She did that. She got 2. Katie Taylor pulled gold medals, man. There's other females out here pull gold medals. But, they don't brag about it. Clarissa brags. So, again, it's not about whether she's great or not. It's about how she's choosing to pursue her legacy and the next stage. And I think there's a growing gap between proving greatness and talking about greatness. You can talk all you want till you're blue in the face. Man, please. But you got to prove your greatness, man. And that distinction is driving a lot of online discussion. Everybody frames it differently. I have my own way. Other guys and girls have their own ways. But that's a lot of the online discussion. Now, as far as the fans, look, fans acknowledge the accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? She secured a place amongst the most accomplished female boxers ever. We give her that, and I don't need to hear one of the Gwodies arguing with me about she's beaten champions. She's won titles in multiple divisions. She's carried the pressure of being one of the sport's most visible female fighters. Okay, cool. Yeah, she's done that. And there are others who have done that and do it right now too. But yeah, true. Box check. I give you that. But from that perspective, when you listen to the Gwodies, they eat their Cinnamon Toast Crunch, get charged full of sugar and dumbness. They come out here, man, and they feel that she has earned the right to speak confidently about her achievements and say whatever she wants to say and break people down. Now, that ain't how this shit works. Because she can choose to do that, but then there are the consequences. You know what I mean? People don't like you. Doors close on you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening here with Clarissa Shields. That's why you got to listen to people who come out here and are providing, whether it's constructive criticism, harsh criticism, raw and uncut criticism, or criticism you disagree with. You just got to understand, man, that the conversation has increasingly shifted from accomplishments to self-promotion. Everything about her. It's ridiculous at this point, man. And I'm going to come back to that shit she said about I could street fight him. That comment is just crazy to me. One moment that generated discussion among fans, because we talk about it on my channel, it involved those comments suggesting she could defeat opponents just like it was a street fight. I don't need no skill. Now, some people say, well, it's true. Chris is a naturally born fighter. It's just confidence. Nah, that's competitiveness. It's just fight promotion rhetoric, Hood. You need to leave that alone. Nah, and then I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. Because when I'm having these conversations, I hear what people are saying. They're like, nah, those comments were unintentional. They were unintentional. And they ended up highlighting what she knew was going to be the level of competitiveness in those opponents. And it also undermines, to me, I think, the nature of professional boxing, because we want drama. We don't want dominance. So when we thought we were getting drama in those fights, she knew she was getting dominance because she knew she would beat him. So how much credit can you give somebody like that? You know what I'm saying? But to me, the argument's pretty damn simple. Boxing isn't about who wins a street fight. It's about who wins under boxing rules against elite competition. Somebody tell me, when's the last time Clarissa has entered the ring against elite competition? Somebody 100% locked in mentally, locked in physically, healthy physically. And somebody with, I think, a skill set, a talent level comparable to Clarissa. And I'm saying it won't be the same because I'm telling you, she's special, right? But comparable. There's only one person whose name that kept coming up, and that was Shadesha. And maybe, who knows what's going to happen. Whatever Shadesha decides to do, I'm a supporter. That's on her. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a supporter regardless. But who knows? Maybe she comes back, and then we get that. But the bottom line is, the comments like what she made has shifted the attention away from skill and towards more of her using intimidation. You know what I'm saying? So again, the bragging rights, not a real fight. Now, I think everyone has a right to criticize her. And I'm going to talk about something about Danielle Perkins, right? But one of the most common criticisms from detractors is that the idea of Clarissa Shields is heavily invested in maintaining the ability to say, I'm undefeated. I'm telling you right now, I think Clarissa's goal is to retire undefeated like Layla Ali. I think that's what she wants to do. But ain't nobody going to put any respect on your name. Because again, who'd you fight? You can say there's no competition. Yo, Clarissa, after talking to several people, Clarissa could have hung around at them lower weight classes and done the business. Okay? So she want to run around here and talk about there's Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, then her. Let me tell you something. Clarissa could have hung her butt between 154 and 160. But I'm telling you, it was strategic for her to go up in weight because she knew she'd be able to easily go up and pick those belts off of those fighters. But the real fights were down there where Layla Ali told her, said there's no competition at 168. Get your nutritionist, you know what I'm saying? And fight down there where the competition is. But back on Floyd Mayweather. Look at Floyd Mayweather. Look at all these male fighters, since she wants to talk about whipping male fighters' asses. These guys get down to a weight and they sacrifice and get down there for a moment in time, make the weight, then they rehydrate and get in there, and you're getting great fights because they stay down at them lower weight classes till they obviously can't do it anymore. And then they'll bubble up a weight division, 2 weight divisions. Some guys, that's why you see these great champions. These guys are here retiring 3, 4, 5 weight division. Pacquiao, 8. But with Clarissa, yes, she is a 5 weight division, but who she fight? Those guys, the men, if you're going to compare yourself to the men, you got to look at who these guys, those guys are out there in wars, man. They ain't in no goddamn 50, they're drama. It's all drama. Ain't no 50-50 fight with no dominance. If they're getting there and they dominate, it's not because they dominated a tomato can. They got in there, man, and were able to make the right adjustments, man, to where they can get the upper hand and come out with a victory or the knockout or decision. So to me, she shouldn't be comparing herself because those guys, they make a choice and they sacrifice to stay down there because they want legacy. They want real fights. They don't want bragging rights. Whereas Clarissa, in my opinion, is the opposite. And that's why she talks so much about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm undefeated. I'm undefeated. Modern boxing often rewards risk management. And it is what it is. You know, the belief when you hear people talk about this is that some fighters become more focused on preserving accomplishments than creating new ones. You know, man, you got to create new ones. And I'm going to be honest, this criticism is not unique to Claressa Shields. They talk about this shit with the men too, you know what I mean? And it's been directed at some famous fighters throughout boxing history. But the questions that I like to ask is, what's more important at this stage? Protecting legacy or expanding it? But Clarissa, has she expanded her legacy? Now that we know, she knew going up that she'd be able to beat all of those women without using any skill, just street fight them. How much respect can you put on those fights? You know what I'm saying? Now, let me tell you something. For those who are like, nah, we still ain't tracking. All right, how about this? Rematch Danielle Perkins. That's her fighter now. So you can say, well, that's not why it's going to happen. But why would she go and sign her? Because something she felt in that ring. You got to remember, man. That's why I bring it up from time to time, man. After that fight, Clarissa acknowledged Perkins' physical strength and punching power was no joke. She didn't like it. She didn't like it. She didn't like it. She said she don't want nothing to do with her anymore. You know why? Because she knew that Perkins she fought was unpolished. Now Perkins is more polished. That's a real fight. She don't want that. She don't want it. She want the bragging rights. I beat her. So the more Perkins goes out here and just creates destruction and chaos in the women's boxing, the more it makes Clarissa look good. But the reality is, this Perkins right now is not the same Perkins that fought Clarissa. This Perkins is much better now. It's just like people say the Canelo that Floyd fought. This Canelo, well, the Canelo, after he fought Floyd, about 3 or 4 fights after, that ain't the same Canelo. People get experience, they evolve. Canelo evolved. Do I think Floyd still would have beat him? Yeah, it's Floyd Mayweather. But for Canelo Shields. For Clarissa, do I think she beats Perkins? No. And you know what? I don't think she believes that too. You know why? Because it's a real fight. She wants the bragging rights. She don't want the real fight. Some could say, you know what, that she's just showing her respect. Nah, that's evidence to me that Perkins presented a more difficult challenge than expected. Clarissa felt some shit she didn't like. And I'm telling you, as Perkins continues to develop, I mean, we out here, we're wondering whether a rematch would be more competitive than the first encounter. I think it would. I think Clarissa would not be letting her hands go that much. I think she'd be moving a lot, and I think Perkins would be putting that pressure on her. She's bigger, stronger, longer. Clarissa's hands are faster. But I just think, when you point to Perkins' size, strength, continued improvement, I think that's the reason why it remains an intriguing opponent to us and why Clarissa just won't fight her. She don't want nothing to do with that. And I get it, Clarissa beat her. I mean, I understand that when you look at it from that angle, but when you look at it from the other angle, when she come out and, admitted that the girl hit too hard. She's too powerful. So that tells me that she doesn't want to be in any fight that's going to risk her losing her oath. Now, this whole thing about the Detroit attendance debate, look, people say they give away, someone said, they give away 10,000 comp tickets. I don't know how many they give away. But we have talked to, people who are in libraries and at the radio station, and they confirm, that, up to 1,000 tickets, or comp tickets, you know what I mean? There are buses that will shuttle people in to her fights. But as far as 10,000, I don't know about that, right? Sometimes we can take it to the stupid, and I'm not even going to come out here and perpetuate that as truth when even I know that shit ain't true. But this thing about the sold out arenas, if she's selling it out, cool. But this is my thing. If you're giving out comp tickets, say that too. You don't have to say how many. We can say, yeah, we give out comp tickets. Yeah, we look out for the underprivileged and the fans who can't make it. Yeah, we do what we can. We have so many that we're willing to give out. But, we do that. And you know what? Because it's normal. It's not uncommon. But they won't disclose that because they want bragging rights. They want to create this image of how all these people want to come out and see Clarissa Shields. They want to come see Big Gwalt. But I'm going to tell you something, man. You listen to Big Gwalt and Pat Pools Pat, they'll have you believing that the local cards are not a collective effort. They will. They'll have you believing the local cards, it's just Clarissa Shields. It has nothing to do with any local prospects, any regional contenders, any hometown fighters. They say, nah, those guys don't have nothing to do to help drive them ticket sales. Nothing. It's all Big Gwalt. And that's why when I sit back and listen, I'm like, here it is again with the bragging rights bullshit. I'm sure a lot of people show up to see Clarissa. I'm sure. But the undercard, the supporting fighters, man, them local prospects, hometown fighters, regional contenders, they got a whole lot to do with that shit selling out up there. My understanding from talking to people from Detroit, they from Michigan, they support their own. They come out. It's an event. Yeah, Clarissa Shields has a lot to do with it, but with that supporting cast, they got a whole lot to do with it too. But she don't give them credit. What she doing? She walked in that ring with Franchise. She was looking around. Wow, it's all here for me. Oh, they're all here for me. Oh, man, please. Ain't nobody come here for these local hometown heroes and local contenders, these local prospects, these regional people. Papoose, papoose. They all here for me. Big whoop. Yo, look, I'm not telling you that Clarissa is not a draw. I'm just telling you that it's a collective effort, man. If that was the case, why have an undercard? Just let Big Whoop come out there and let's see how things pan out then. Then we'll have some kind of definitive data. We can come out here and do a thorough analysis and say, okay, well, look, you know what I mean? It's like in science, what you had the hypothesis and shit. You tested, right? I just think those events in Detroit, I'm going to consider them a success because she has local dominance. She's not doing this all across the United States and all 7 continents. She's doing it locally. It's local dominance. But the reason why the events, I would consider them a success, right? I think because there's multiple contributors. Now, I'm not telling you I think she's selling 18,000, 19,000. I'm not telling you I think it does that. I'm just telling you that the events they put on, I do believe they achieve a certain level of success, and I think everybody has something to do with it, not just Big Whoop, okay? But they want to create that perception so she can have the big bragging rights. But I got to be careful because I think credit should be awarded to the headline fighters because a lot of people won't show up till later. But in Detroit, when they show the crowd, there'll be a lot of people out there, man. Way before Clarissa Shields getting in that ring. So that tells me they come out to see the other contributors, the supporting cast, just as much as they come out to see Clarissa Shields. So I just want to make sure that I debate that fairly. Now, this whole thing about the MVP comparison, there ain't no comparison, man. Demetrius Salita, win records, there's no comparison. Look at all these lawsuits fighters got against Demetrius Salita. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of them. You listen to people who are signed to them when they come out and they speak on them. They don't have nothing good to say about them. Now you got the one guy, Michelle Rivera, Dominican cat. He was out here getting busy. Everybody told me he looked like a young Muhammad Ali. He fought Frank Martin. Frank Martin put the bing-bings on him. Then he came back. He just struggled to get fights. So now he's another one. But there's a laundry list of fighters who have anything good to say about Demetrius Salita. So for anyone trying to make that comparison, because I've seen like a couple, there's no comparison between win records, Demetrius Salita, and Jake Paul and MVP and what they're doing. You know, there's no comparison. So people need to stop that, man. This shit about Clarissa, again, talking about the arena size. Look, the arena size is not the only measurement of success. Do y'all understand that? You got to look at the television reach, streaming numbers, media coverage, sponsorship exposure, social media engagement. All of that matters. Now, when you think about those things, right? The arena, okay, local dominance. If they're doing 18, 19,000, okay. Good job, Clarissa, win records, Demetrius Salita. Jake Paul and those guys are putting on events, 5,000 to 72, 7,200 seated arenas. Okay, good job. You're selling them out? Great. No, it's not 18,000, not 19,000. But now we talk about ESPN. We talk about television reach. Who has more reach? Because the ESPN cards with the MVP, MVP cards being aired on ESPN, you're talking about the millions of homes. So 18,000, 19,000 are cool. People are paid to come see you. But you got millions of people watching the women on the MVP cards. You start talking about streaming numbers. Numbers are much bigger. Way better when it comes to the MVP cards. Media coverage, way better when it comes to the MVP cards. Sponsorship exposure and social media engagement. Everything is way better. And I'm not making this up. I'm being fair. And I'm going to point this out, man. Nationally televised events can introduce fighters to audiences far beyond the people physically attending the arena. I've said this a couple of times. I'm foot stomping it now because, I got a lot of catching up to do. I'm so busy. But that's why I'm trying to do what I can. But I want to make sure I foot stomp this because I don't even think her and her team really understand this. Nationally televised events can introduce fighters to audiences far beyond the people that physically attend in the arena. So right then, Clarissa and her, they lose. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. No, it's short-term success. As long as you're profiting, it's a win. But when you're talking about the long-term process and success here, that Jake Paul and MVP and Nikisa, what they're doing for the ladies, you got to, if you fully understand it, I think you would prefer to be on Team MVP that would win records. That's just my opinion. You see, the whole argument that needs to be had is that visibility can reach sometimes a lot further and can be more important than attendance alone. Visibility. Millions of people watching you. Casuals. Learning your name. Because they just happen to have the ESPN app and they watch ESPN, they watch sports. Oh, there's women's boxing coming out. Oh, Jake Paul. Oh, MVP. What does he do? Oh, I heard his name. Oh, he has this thing. This guy Nikisa from the MMA world. Okay, they click. Check it out. And they have great fights. So again, man, visibility and reach can sometimes be more important than the ticket count alone. But Clarissa wants bragging rights. So she doesn't understand the opportunity she missed out on. You know what I'm saying? Now, she ended up saying something else here about MVP.
Why would I go with MVP and they was offering me less money? And they supposed to be the big money guys. That makes no sense.
So she didn't go with MVP because they're supposed to be the big money guys. And then she was being offered more money by Win Records and Demetrius Salita, supposedly. She said that makes no sense. Well, maybe if she was thinking along the lines of visibility and reach and what that can do for her long term, opposed to the, alleged $8 million deal over 2 years, 4 fights, and the $3 million signing bonus. Okay? But I'm going to tell you this right now, man. The supporters of Clarissa Shields, it is what it is. I know y'all like to counter that live attendance still matters enormously because ticket sales remain one of the boxing's strongest indicators of fan support. And I hear you. I'm just telling you, I think the visibility and reach can and maybe is more important than ticket sales alone. Now, this whole shit about her and where she's going and when it comes to MMA and all that, listen, she went into martial arts. And this is why I'm telling you, they don't want her to lose. They just want bragging rights, and they don't care who she fights. They want easy fights. This is my opinion now. Before I was like, nah, but after listening to what she said at that Franchon press conference, and then of course her fighting Franchon where she's beating her every time, now I'm starting to see, okay, I was wrong about all this. They don't want any risk. Nah, they don't want any risk. They want the least amount of effort, but they want the greatest reward. And the reward they're looking for is bragging rights. That ain't shit. The greatest reward should be getting in competitive fights, 50-50 fights, coming down to a weight class to where she has competition. And then now with the right attitude and the right team around her, maybe then some big-time sponsorships and endorsement deals land at her doorstep. But the way she's going, it ain't going to happen because they don't want her to lose. I like when she went to MMA. I like that she was over there and out of her comfort zone. She won one, she lost one. I don't think there's nothing funny about her losing. Just like nothing funny about her winning. She deserves to be applauded for that. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, she challenged herself, but all of a sudden, shit changed up. Because Papoose was like, he didn't want that. Because they want her to be seen with an aura of mystique and invincible and to just keep winning. In the MMA world, that shit involves different sets of skills. wrestling, grappling, submission, cage awareness, takedown defense. And somebody else did a little bit of that. Was it Amanda Serrano who did a little bit of that? Jiu-jitsu and MMA and boxing. Didn't she do a little bit of that stuff? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me see something. I think I got something here I can show y'all. I think she actually talked about it. You know? I'm pretty sure I'm right. Let me see if I can pull that up and show you real quick. But Clarissa is not the only one, and she went over to the MMA world. Everybody has an opinion of why she went to the MMA world. A lot of people say she was trying to compete with Amanda Serrano. Again, she wants bragging rights. But when she goes and she does it, she wants everyone to think that she's the only one who's gone out here and done MMA. But you take a look at Serrano, 3 different sports, 1 outcome. Out here whipping ass. Boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu. Y'all see where I'm going with this? With Clarissa Shields, it's really about bragging rights. But I think her team realized she ain't no Amanda Serrano. Because if that was the case, they would have let her keep pushing. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think it would have hurt Clarissa's image if she would have had, let's say, 10 MMA fights, won 4 and lost 6. I don't think it would have hurt her image. I think it would have helped her image. Because they know she dominates boxing, and I think she would have kept dominating. But she would have been over there out of her comfort zone and just continued to get the respect. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. She got in an environment that wasn't familiar to her. It was less predictable. Her team decided that's not what we want. And they pulled her up out of there and she can't do it anymore, which I think is just crazy. One of the worst decisions I think they made. That's just my opinion. And that's why fans are sitting here watching it now when they take all this into consideration. Bragging rights, local dominance in Detroit, talking about her titles and everything else, not really acknowledging what Serrano's done, not acknowledging what other fighters have done. Just basically, you know what I mean? She's a shellfish. She's a crustacean. That's what she is. She's in the bucket. And she see another one of them shellfish get on. She see one of them crustaceans get on. She sees somebody with an exoskeleton climbing up out that bucket. She grabbing them, pulling that shit down. Man, please. Shellfish, where you going? Get your ass down here in this bucket with me. Papoose. Help me pull this person down. They about to outshine me. Give us some 50-50 fights, man. That's the underlying issue behind a lot of the criticism. We like to see athletes face uncertainty. And what we're realizing now is that early in her career, yes, she was facing uncertainty, and she was just showing that she was just a notch above everyone. And you know what? Maybe she is a notch above everyone. But we need to see that now, because she should have stayed in that realm of the 147, 160 pound weight divisions. She should have stayed within that realm and did the business. But she chose not to. I just think she's got to put it all on the line. Now, if she cuts down to 147, now I just think it's impossible for her to make that weight. But she said some shit about cutting down to 147. If Clarissa cuts down to 147 and she faces someone like a Dubois or just any of them down there, go down to 154 and fight Michaela Mir, I will give her all the credit in the world. Because now you're seeing she put everything on the line. You know what I'm saying? But see, her fans are going to say, oh, that's because y'all just want her to lose. No, McNicholas, hold your horses and stop taking it to the goddamn stupid. That's because y'all sit here, man, and got the goat's nuts all up in your mouth. That's not what it is. We want to see drama, not dominance. And we know what Clarissa Shields, she passes the eye test. We know she can get busy. But when she comes out and she says, I knew I could beat all these women out here just street fighting them. So you're going up and weight and you're looking at what's out there and like, oh, these women here, they're bigger than me, but they don't have the skill, they don't have the speed, they don't have the talent, they're nothing. I'll just go up there. So if she feared something, she wouldn't have done it. That's why you think she ain't gonna mess with Shadesha? In addition to that, why you think she fought Perkins the first time and she don't want to fight her no more? Because listen to the shit she says. Don't go off what I say. Dangerous challenges, she don't seem to want them. Risky fights, she don't seem to want them. Difficult matchups, she don't seem to want them. She wants comfortable victories. Now that Savannah Marshall fight, that's why we give her respect for that. That was a fight where going in, we're like, oh, this is 50-50. And in that fight, you can see that wasn't no damn Clarissa just coming in there having her way with Savannah. Hell no. That was a scrap. Clarissa had to dig deep. Both of them were firing on all cylinders. Clarissa just had the ability to up it. She just had a little more, she was able to up it a bit more than Savannah. And she deserved to get the win. But since then, when have you seen her in a fight like that? I think even that made her feel a bit uncomfortable. Like, shit, I don't need to be doing this. I need to figure out an easier way to try to establish my legacy. And more importantly, have bragging rights over these females. That's just my opinion. But I'm going to tell you again, when it comes to fans want to see great fighters tested against opponents who create real doubt. And outside of Savannah Marshall, I don't know who created doubt. I was thinking it's going to be Franchon, but to be honest, the way that fight played out, just the weigh in and all that, man, I mean, it's kind of hard to say. Did I think Clarissa was going to win? Yeah, I did. I said Clarissa should win, but 'tis the season for the GOAT to get scalped. Because the amount of distraction she had going on. I like, Franchon's the right one on the right night. For you to be distracted, to come in there and put them bing-bings on you. But all that distraction and all that chaos, all that shit and all that stress was put on Franchon. It was horrible. Then the bullshit problems with the promoter and everything. You see, Franchon done got quiet, but she touched up on it, but she ain't got quiet since, for obvious reasons. So I even have a hard time giving Clarissa credit for that win. Do I think she would have won if there was no drama that ensued? I think she deserved to be the favorite, but again, we didn't get to see the fight that we deserved. And that's just the reality of it. So that being said, bragging rights are real fights. I think the bigger legacy question is, what creates a lasting legacy? Okay? Is it championships? Undefeated records? Attendance numbers? Or social media attention? Or is it taking fights people consider the most dangerous? Is it going down in weight? Not just going up. That's easy. How about going down in weight? Having the discipline to bring on a nutritionist, the right strength and conditioning coach, the right dietitian. You understand? Now, different fans are going to answer this totally differently, and I get it. But what makes Clarissa such a polarizing figure is that almost everyone agrees on her talent, 100%. But most people disagree on how that talent has been used and how she plans on using it going forward. Because they're like, she just out here chasing bragging rights. She don't want anything to do with real fights. And as a result, when you want to talk about the greatest woman of all time, there's a couple that come to mind, but really, the face of women's boxing is still Layla Ali. But you want to call somebody a GOAT? Shit, that's Amanda Serrano. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.